Now, this information originates from the United States. A Chinese company and its former executive, yes, former at this point, were being investigated by U.S. prosecutors. The reason for this is shocking: they allegedly bribed a Japanese politician. This issue, deeply tied to Japan's political scene, raises questions like, why would the Ishiba administration include such people in their cabinet? And why are Japanese media reporting on this only now? To get started, let's break down what this case is about. Please take a look at this article. The first thing mentioned is a name. This individual was indicted, accused of offering a bribe related to casino operations in Japan, $1.9 million, which is roughly 300 million yen. The question arises, why is the U.S. prosecuting this case involving a Chinese company bribing Japanese politicians? The answer lies in U.S. law, specifically anti-corruption regulations concerning foreign actions. This law enables the U.S. to act when foreign corrupt practices disadvantage American companies. For example, if multiple companies aim to enter Japan for business, and a Chinese company pays bribes to gain an unfair advantage, this would harm American competitors. Hence, although the bribes were paid in Japan, the U.S. has grounds to punish the misconduct as it potentially impacts American interests. Now, regarding the company 500.com, which is now called Bit Mining, what kind of company is this? Initially, it was deeply tied to gambling, established in 2001 as China's first online lottery company. About 20 years ago, they began diversifying and seeking international opportunities. Amid Japan's discussions on legalizing casinos, this company sought to enter Japan's casino market, employing illegal methods, including bribes. The former CEO, Pan Zhengmin, mentioned in the article, joined the company's leadership in 2011 and became CEO in 2015. He is a Columbia University graduate fluent in English and previously served as a deputy branch manager at Deutsche Bank. His background is in law, but he also worked in the financial sector. It seems he attempted to introduce practices common in China's business world to Japan, resulting in bribing several Japanese politicians to enter Japan's casino and hotel industry. These activities took place between 2017 and 2019, during Pan's tenure as CEO. U.S. authorities somehow became aware of this, investigating both Pan Zhengmin and 500.com, now Bit Mining. The company disguised bribes as legitimate expenses, such as consulting fees, and recorded them falsely. This was flagged as improper accounting by U.S. prosecutors. The company has admitted to these charges and agreed to pay $10 million in penalties, approximately 1.5 billion yen, and cooperate with further investigations. The timing of the U.S. indictment raises questions. While the news is spreading on social media now, U.S. authorities began their investigation back in June, with both Pan Zhengmin and the company being investigated in New Jersey for bribery and falsified accounting records. By then, 500.com had already admitted to bribing Japanese politicians to enter Japan's casino business and falsifying records to cover it up. A deferred prosecution agreement, DPA, was reached, where the company agreed to pay a penalty, admit wrongdoing, and cooperate with further investigations. This brings up critical points for Japan. Was this information known before Japan's elections? Would the election outcome have been different if voters were aware? After the elections, the Ishiba administration appointed one of the implicated politicians to the cabinet, despite likely knowing about the scandal. Japanese media remained silent before the election, likely benefiting the ruling party. Why include a politician allegedly compromised by Chinese interests in the cabinet? Such appointments risk damaging relations with countries like the U.S., especially when American companies are also interested in Japan's casino market. The U.S., with its vested interests in casinos, is likely outraged at these developments. The scandal extends beyond bribery. Another case involved individuals with ties to Macau's underworld seeking to enter Japan's casino business. Though the Chinese government ultimately intervened, there are signs that the U.S. played a role behind the scenes, possibly pressuring China to act against these individuals. Japan's inability to address such scandals internally reflects the significant influence of politicians allegedly tied to China. The U.S., in contrast, is actively tackling these issues. Japan's media, however, has largely ignored the story, failing to inform voters about these critical issues before elections. This long-standing problem within Japanese media parallels earlier failures, such as the lack of reporting on North Korea's abductions of Japanese citizens. This lack of accountability and transparency from Japan's media raises questions about its role in society. Far from being impartial and fair, Japanese mainstream media seem to have become protectors of the status quo, prioritizing vested interests over informing the public. In conclusion, The U.S. is taking the lead in exposing corruption involving Chinese companies and Japanese politicians, while Japan struggles with internal accountability. This case exemplifies the need for systemic changes in Japan's political and media landscapes.